after you get it set up like this, you always look for the signs next. You always think, should it be plus and plus? No, there's negatives in the problem. So if there's negatives in the problem, there has to be a negative here. If this is negative, then there's a plus and a minus. I hope you've caught that by now. And then the only thing left is to figure out which multiply gives you 8. It could be 4 times 2. Mr. Lowe, come on, man. I got to write a letter. I hate writing letters. It burns my free time. All right. So how do we make an 8? It's 4 times 2 or 8 times 1. I'm thinking it's 4 and 2, and I put in the 4 and the 2. And now, you could just roll the dice that you got it right. But that's kind of dumb if it's the test. On the test, you should really check it, and you'd have negative 4x, positive 2x. And did that work? These added together make negative 2x, and that's exactly what I wanted. There's a reminder of factoring. Please factor this next one here. X squared plus 10x plus 25. Go. Amina, how do you always start after you look for a GCF and there wasn't one? What do you do then? X and X. Then you do the signs. What do you tell me about the signs? Must be plus and plus, because there are only pluses in the problem. Now, the only thing left is what multiplies to a 25. There's 2 choices, 25 and 1, or 5 and 5. Did your gut say 5 and 5? You could just roll the dice that you got it right. But since it's a test tomorrow, not tomorrow, the next day, you probably should check it. 5x totals up to 10x. Look at that. Okay, this next one, hard. This is kind of like, not incredibly hard though, so probably just one of the hardest easy ones. There's always problems that are kind of in between, but they're not really easy. But they're not hard, really hard. So either this could be one of the first 8 questions, and it'd be a little hard for that. Or it could be one of the hard ones, yet that was pleasantly easy. Did you notice by now that a 2 comes out of everything? If you didn't already do that, you're doing it wrong. I get it. You might think, I'll put a 2x in the front. Nope, that would not work. There's a 2 in everything that's called a GCF. Zane, I already did the divide by 2 everywhere. Can you tell me then what happens to this when I simplify? Good, and this is simplified too. And this simplifies too. Nice. Now, if you're really not good at factoring, you might just think, oh, I'm done. Nope. You should know by now that this will factor again. Ruby, how do I always start? Good. And then how about the signs in this case? Ooh, I have a negative because there was a negative in the problem. How did you know this one was going to be a negative? Because that's plus. All right. And now there's only 2 choices. Esh, what are my 2 choices for 4? You could either do this times this or that times that.
2 and 2 and 4 and 1.
Good. Which one do you think it is?
4 and 1.
You are correct. How do I know you're right? Because I, in my head, just did this. Negative 4x and negative 1x, and that makes a total of negative 5x. Cool. All right. This one. The hardest one. Would there be really one this hard on the test? Yes, but it would for sure be one of the 5 hard ones at the end of the test. Sometimes I say 4 hard ones. That's because in every other class except higher algebra, there's only 4 hard problems. You guys have 5 hard problems. It actually makes it a little easier in that the way we do it is you get 5% added for each one of these you get right. And you get 5 chances to add 5% to whatever your score was. I would totally understand if you thought it was 3x and x, but you're wrong. That does not work. Why? 3. What about 3? It's the GCF. Yes, 3 has to come out of everything. Now, you might want to use a calculator. You got one built into your iPad. You know that on the test you won't have an iPad. So I hope you know how to do it on a regular calculator. Worminski, can you tell me, after 3 factors out of everything, what do I have? Yep. Plus 5x minus, ooh, you must use a calculator. Either that or you're really good at hard divide problems. Okay, awesome. Would you at least suspect that it probably could be factored again? Yup, do it. Who's actually done already with that? Nobody. Okay, three of you. Give this a shot. Marking Phoebe absent today. Kirian's absent. Mara's absent. Oh, what happened there? Seating chart moved you over there. That was weird. Okay. That is weird. I swear I did not touch the seating chart and it has changed in Skyward. That's unusual. I'll fix it. And last is Dylan Osberg is absent. All right, you should have said this was an X and an X. There's a minus in the problem, which means there's a minus here. Then you ask yourself, should that also be a minus? No, the last number is negative. So you're supposed to use a plus and a minus. Then you should have been thinking 8 times 3 makes 24. Now, did I do it right? I don't know until I check. Negative 3x, positive 8x. Together, that makes 5x. Oh, I did it right. Okay, on this one, stop for a second. And one of the bonus question kind of things, actually it might even be an easy question, is what are the 2 solutions? Bennett, x equals what? And x equals what? Negative 8 works for this one. And 3 works for that one. Very good. Okay, they're the things that make it equal 0. That's what the solutions are. If I set the whole thing equal to 0, it's like what makes this part 0 and what makes that part 0. All right, I want to go to the side for just a second to make sure you're not one of those kids who thinks it's always just the opposite of the other number. What are the 2 answers this time? One of them's easy. One of them, you have to know what you're doing. Set it equal to 0. Two x minus 3 equals 0. 2x equals 3. X equals 3 over 2. The other one is easy. It's just 8. You guys get that? Cool. If you could get all of those right, so far you've passed the test. Now, let's see if you could do better than just pass the test. Negative x squared minus 4x plus 5. That can be factored twice. The first factoring is a GCF. That negative. Know how to handle that negative? Second factoring is just normal factoring. I know this isn't on the test, or on your little notes sheet, but why do you think I'm doing it? Probably because I know it's important. You want to practice this. Take a negative 1 out. put a -1 and then a parenthesis. Right here. See, look up at the board. If you didn't do that, you're not doing it right. You made a -1 out in the front. And anytime you have a GCF, that's what this is. That's called a GCF, greatest common factor. Then you can divide by it on all of these. And really, it's just like opposite day. It used to be negative, now it's positive x squared. It used to be negative 4x, now it's positive 4x. It used to be plus 5, now it's minus 5. And then you can factor it again. Lindholm, final factoring. Wait, start with the x's. And then what?
-1.
Got a minus and a plus, and then -1, you say?
And +1.
You got it. That's it. Okay, so can you factor out a negative like this? All right, next one. I keep practicing these because there isn't many in our notes, but we expect you to know how to do it on the test. Solve. It's kind of like, it all will come down to factoring. It's just kind of like, what do you have to do first before you factor? It's like, do you know the extra little stuff? If you didn't know, quadratics have to be equal to 0 to solve them. This gets it equal to 0. And now it's x squared minus 7x minus 8. Now it should be easy street. But will you know that on the test? That's the question. Gotta set it equal to 0. See, it's equal to 0 now. Okay, Caden, walk me through the steps on this. You always have parentheses, then what?
Divide.
Wait.
No. Put the x's.
X's. How about signs?
One negative, one positive.
Nice, because this one's negative. You have one of each. Then what?
And then, 4 and, wait.
You could do 4 and 2,
Yeah.
but you'd check it and you'd go, crap, I get -4 and positive 2. That makes 2. That doesn't make 7.
8 and 1.
8 must be 8 and 1. Now, I'm going to on purpose do it wrong. -1x, positive 8x, together -1 and positive 8 makes positive 7x. Crap, it's the opposite of what I wanted. What do I do then? Careful.
Flip the numbers.
No, you do not. You flip the signs. If you get the opposite sign of the answer you want, you change to the opposite signs, not the opposite numbers. You don't change the numbers, you change the signs. Did you catch that? I got the opposite of what I wanted, so I changed the minus. It used to be a plus, now it's a minus. It used to be a minus, now it's a plus. Could it also switch the numbers? Sometimes, yeah, sometimes that would work. But I promise you, there will be problems on the test where there's a 2x in the front. And then when you switch the signs around, like those of you that think, it doesn't matter, you can switch the numbers. Nope. If you switch the numbers around here, you will get a completely different answer because the 8 right now is just times the x and the 2 is times the -1. If you switch these around, you'd get a completely different answer. So don't switch the numbers unless you want a completely different answer. If you just want the opposite answer, you switch the signs around. Okay, I want to go to this page. This is like you want to get an A or a B on this test. You got to be able to do some of these right. They usually start with like 2x and x, or 3x and x, or 7x and x. Come on, give it a shot. Don't expect you to be perfect yet. This is 1 of 2 days of review. I do want you to try though. That's what kids usually say when they just don't want it right. I'm fine with you doing it in your head, but write it on the iPad when you're done doing it in your head. We're not okay with kids just sitting in class. Because see, if you're stuck on this, you can be like, well, I'm stuck. Okay, well then, start with parentheses. Everybody knows that. And then you can do the next thing. It can't just be n and n, because that would make n squared, and it's supposed to be 7n squared. Oh, I guess I'll have to use a 7n. Then you can do the signs. Just one thing at a time. It's not that bad. Keegan, signs.
Minus and plus.
Minus and plus. Perfect, because the last number is negative. See, now you got it down to only one thing left. Sadie, what multiplies 30?
65.
6 and 5 does. Now I'm going to try to figure out where to put them. If I put a 6 and a 5 here, I'll check it. Negative 6n. Positive 35. Actually, that might be it. Because I said x, but I meant n. Oh my gosh. Just got lucky. Because that added up to negative 29. No, it didn't. That added up to positive 29n. This is that moment I keep telling you about. I got the opposite of what I wanted. What should I do? I got the exact opposite of what I wanted. Change the signs. That plus becomes a minus. That minus becomes a plus. If you move the numbers, it won't work at all. You have to switch the signs, not the numbers. And now this will become plus 6n, and this will be minus 35, and that makes negative 29. You want an A or a B on this test? You'll have to be able to do that. Okay, next one. Parenthesis, 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 parenthesis. This time it could be 6n and n, or what else could it be? 3n and 2n. Because that also makes 6n. I understand. It's not easy. But it's not that hard either. It's only pluses. Duh. Plus, plus. It's a 2. It must be a 2 and a 1. And then you can check it. I know this one's not right, but I'll show you why I know. Because it's 2n and 6n. And that does not make 7n, does it? Switching the signs is only going to give me the opposite of what I wanted, so that's not going to help. So don't switch the signs, but switch the numbers. And the 1 goes here, and the 2 goes here. And then I check it, and I still don't have the right answer. 1n and 8n, and that makes 9n, and it's not 7. I've already tried the 1. I've already tried the 2. I can't change those anymore. I switched them back and forth. They didn't work. Are you smart enough to know that this has to now change to 3n and 2n? That's what you'll have to be able to know. You tried everything with the 1 and the 2 that you could. So, now I'm going to check it. 2n, 6n, but that's 8n. Still didn't work. So switch these again. 1 turns into 2, turns into 1. Man, you have to do that many tries? Yup, it's not easy to factor. That's why the only thing on the test is factoring. 4n, 3n, that adds up to 7n. Holy cow, we had to change like 6 things before we finally found it. Yeah, that's how it usually goes. That's why you got to know how to check it. Because we had to try and then check it. Try it again, check it again. Try it again, check it again. There's a ton of checking it. This part here, if you're not checking them, you would only have a 1 in like 6 chance of getting it right by just guessing. You got to check them. All right, this one. Toughest one that we've had so far today. Because not only do you have to factor out this equation, you have to start by getting rid of the negative. To factor out the negative, start with this. And then it's like opposite day. What's the opposite of negative 9x squared? Positive 9x squared. When you take a negative out, you're just doing the opposite of this. Opposite of this. Opposite of that. And now it's ready to just be factored. How do I start? Nordling? There's two choices for the x's. So do you think it's 9x and x, or do you think it's 3x and 3x? I think it might be 3x and 3x, but I don't know until I try it. But let's do the signs because that's easy. I guarantee you can know the signs. What are they? It's got to be a minus and a plus because that's negative. And then the last numbers are actually super easy. Ash, there's only two things that multiply to 2. 2 and 1. Now I know that I have to check it because I'm not sure at all. There was like I kept on guessing. I didn't know if it's 3x and 3x or 9x and 1x. I didn't know to put the 2 first or the 1 first. I don't know. So I'm probably wrong. Negative 6x and positive 3x. Oh my gosh, I did get lucky. Because that came out to negative 3x just like it's supposed to. So I'm done. Sometimes you do get lucky. But you don't even know if you got lucky until you check it. All right. This one, at least it's not negative in front. Come on, you got this. I'm hoping to get half the class gets this right. I know, that seems crazy. But these are hard, I know. Lindholm, how do you always start on this kind?
7x.
Except in this case it's n, so I know. I usually use x's too. 7n and n. Marminsky, tell me the signs. You can know the signs. Negative, because there's a negative in the problem. And why was this one negative? Because that's plus. Good. All right. Esh, there's two choices for the 8. Could be this, could be that.
4 and 2.
Could be 4 and 2. Or it could be,
8 and 1.
good. I don't know until I check it. Caden, check it. What does the negative 4n make?
Negative 4.
And the other part?
13.
Close. Careful with your negatives.
Negative 14.
Okay. Total that up. What do I get?
Negative 18.
Is that even close to 4? No. Then you switch the numbers. Remember, if I just switched the signs, it wouldn't fix it. I got to switch the numbers. So the 2 and the 4. The 4 becomes a 2. 2 becomes a 4. Now, this might not do it either. But it might. Caden, what is it now? What's this part?
4.
What?
Negative 2x.
And the other part?
Negative 48.
Does that make 4n?
No.
Nope. Then what do I do?
8 and 1.
8 and 1. Has to be an 8 and 1 then. We tried 4 and 2 all we could. And it wasn't 4 and 2. Must be 8 and 1. That's the game. You just keep on playing with this until you find it. Negative 8n. Negative 7n. Dang it, that's not even close to what I wanted. So what do? Do I switch the signs? No, I switch the numbers. Must be a 1 here and an 8 here. I just put them in the wrong spots, sorry. That's an 8. That's a 1. Wait a minute. That's not even close also. I think we hit our first one. That's prime. This one, I tried everything and it didn't factor. I still haven't found out yet whether I can tell you that the whole test factors or whether I can not tell you that. Because I don't know. I haven't looked. Maybe there's one on the test that doesn't factor. Or maybe we'll tell the whole group of you guys, hey guys, they're all going to factor. So if it's not working, keep trying. You know what I mean? You must have done something wrong. Kind of like that one test where we told you there wouldn't be any decimal answers was like a big hint. Because then if you're getting a decimal, you're obviously doing it wrong, right? Okay. On this test, I don't know if there'll be any like this. But if there is, the official answer is there. It's prime. It means it can't be factored. All right. Go to this page. There's a whole bunch, a little nest of little easy ones if you know how to do them. Paloma, that first sign, it's got 2 parentheses. Can you just do it? Like, I know the answer right away. I don't know if you know this kind or not. You know what to do? Paloma? Okay, I'll get you started. Do you get that I know there's a negative in the problem, so then what? There would be a negative in the answer. And a positive, okay? And then, how do you make a 9? 3 and 3. There you go, that's it. If you're not sure how I know this is right, x times x makes x squared. Negative 3 times 3 makes the negative 9. And this together, they just cancel. Negative 3x and positive 3x are opposites, so they cancel. So I've got everything I need. There was nothing in the middle. Yes?
Do they have to cancel?
Yeah, because there's nothing else in the problem. I already got my x squared. I already got my negative 9. If this came out to something else, that'd be a problem. I want them to cancel. All right, on this one. Tons of kids struggle until they realize they're both even. Take a 2 out first. So then you divide by 2 on both of them. There's next little step. Just take one little step. And then you go, okay, I guess I can do this. 32 divided by 2 is 16. Minus 50 divided by 2 is 25. And now will you know these are what are called perfect squares. Because 4x times 4x makes 16x. 5 times 5 makes 25. If you see one with perfect squares, then you use 4x and 4x and 5 and 5. And what are the signs on this? Minus and a plus. Do you see how easy that was? They're perfect squares. 16x squared is 4x and 4x. 25 is 5 and 5. And we can tell because there's a minus in the problem that there must be a minus in the answer. And the last number is negative, so it must be a plus and a minus. So I can tell my signs. All right. I know you guys are getting crispy. You're almost fried. But this is the last one I'm going to ask you to do today. And then we're going to just work on homework. Nugent, do you see that negative in front?
Yeah.
Then it has to be factored out. So what do I do?
You make everything positive then. Or no, you do like 4x squared, and then you do -1.
So they're both opposite.
Yeah.
That's the word you were looking
So
for.
the negative thing on that.
Yes, there you go. And now, can you finish it? Question.
So if the negative whole
Okay, so you're changing the problem. So I'm going to show you. If the problem had like a 4 right there, then you could factor out a -4. But like you said, we'd have to change the problem to do that. So the way our problem is, the only thing we can factor out is the negative. All right. Nordling, did you recognize that this is one of those perfect problems? Meaning all the numbers will be the same at the end? So what goes here and here? 2x and 2x, and what goes here and here? 1 and 1. And then you got to use your signs. Think about the signs. What do they have to be? Minus and plus. There we go. All right. I think that's enough for today. So tomorrow is the last day of review. By now, you either know that you get factoring or that you don't. All right. So tomorrow we review. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Thursday morning, if you're still struggling with this, I'm telling you, if you come in one morning and you ask for help, a Thursday morning, right before this test, I could get you to pass this test. You just have to come in the morning that morning. I can help you make sure you got this. Or if you're the kid who always gets the C's and you want an A this time, come in the morning. It makes a big difference. So I'll see some of you, I hope, on Thursday morning, right before the Thursday test. All right, so let's take out the homework that is assigned for today. I'm going to pause the video and maybe I'll tell you which ones to skip. All right, got the homework up on your screen? We're only doing the odds. Number 1, it starts with something that's not factoring. It's something that is factored. Henry Nichols, would you read me number 1?
So it first says solve 0 is equal to parentheses of x plus 3 and parentheses of x minus 5.
All right. Thank you. And if I have to solve that, I have to say x equals this and x equals that. Don't forget the x equals. I have to mark it wrong if you just give me a number. Do you remember that deal? If you ever just give a number at this level of math, it's probably wrong. X equals -3 and x equals 5. That should have been pretty easy. Esh, read me number 3 because we're only doing the odds.
X squared minus 8.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Just x squared minus 8.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think it factors.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That makes me think maybe we are going to throw on some that don't factor. Well, here's how you'd know it won't factor. It's got to be a minus and a plus. Has to be. Do you get why? Because the last number is negative. Okay. And then how do I make an 8? Well, I can make an 8 with a 4 and a 2, but the outside and the inside are going to make some other number. See, I already got my x times x is x squared. And I've already got my 8. So if these make anything else,
It's prime.
it's going to be prime. Yeah, this does not factor. Prime. Yeah, I think that, unfortunately, it would actually be so much easier if we could tell you they all factor. It looks like we're probably going to have problems on the test that don't factor, and you have to know that. All right, number 5. Sadie, would you read me number 5, please?
X squared plus 16.
X. Only pluses in the problem, plus and plus. Wait a minute, something's wrong. Because if I put a 16 and a 1 here, I'll end up with like 17x. 16x plus 1x is 17x. There's no 17x in the problem. And do you get if I change that to like 4 and 4, it's still not going to work? Because I'm adding all this stuff together. It just does not factor. It's prime. Okay, how about number 7? Q.
Yeah.
Read it.
X squared minus 8x.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then this is the GCF kind. It's not 2 parentheses. Do you get that? There's no number at the end, so you can't use 2 parentheses. You just think of what's the GCF that comes out of both. Jaden, what goes into both of these? This and this. X. Good. Caden, these little divide by signs are hinting that you should divide by X. So what do I get?
-8.
Just that?
And x.
Yes. How could you know you're right? Because look, if I multiply this out, I get x squared, just like I started with. And if I multiply this times this, I get the negative 8x. Cool. That's the GCF kind. All right, we're just going to do one more. Mara, would you read me number 9? P squared minus what?
P
That it?
minus 20.
Oh, minus 20. Then I use 2 parentheses. Low. What goes here and here?
X.
Except in this case, what letter?
Oh, E.
Yep. Zane, signs on this one.
Minus and plus.
All right. You are correct. Because the last number is negative, we need a negative. And if the last number is negative, you get a plus and a minus. And the last question, Lauren Gross. What multiplies 20?
20 and 1.
It is true. But that'll make negative 20p, and this will make 1p, and that is not even close to negative 1p. So 20 and 1 weren't even close. Even switching them around is not going to work. So what else multiplies to 20? Hint 5.
5 and 4.
There you go. Check it, check it. Negative 5p, positive 4p. Do the odds. And that one worked because negative 5p and positive 4p adds up to negative 1p, and that's what I wanted. Okay, if you get stuck, please come up and ask. That's all I got for you for the video for today.